Moving on to a very bullish call on Tesla. Now, shares today are surging with the stock up over 6%. Now, the move to the upside coming after New Street Research raised its price target to $800 a share. Melody Hahm is with me. And Melody, some of the reasons why they are bullish on the stock, obviously they said about management and also strong demand. What's your read on this? Because it seems like a tremendous move to the upside when we've already seen a huge run up in Tesla's stock recently.
Yeah, and this is, of course, on the tails of a slew of upgrades that we experienced over the last couple of weeks, but Pierre Ferragu by far is the most bullish call here. I do have to say that, yes, 800 seems like a lofty number, but the thesis is essentially that we should expect Tesla to sell between 2 to 3 million vehicles per year after 2025. So, of course, this is a long view. And then if you think about the market cap at that point, Pierre Ferragu is suggesting that that would bring Tesla to about $230 to $350 billion. That would equate to about $1,100 to $1,700 a share, which, as you can see, is a far cry from what we're seeing now. But ultimately, Seana, we've talked about quite often on this show the lack of penetration of EVs in the general market, and that passenger sedans, it only makes up about 2.5% currently in 2020. So as much as we talk about Tesla as if it's a household name, which it is in terms of actually having these vehicles in people's garages, on the streets. Of course, I live in LA, so it's very disproportionate to the general population. But ultimately, the consensus here from the Wall Street community is that there is a long way to go, and that the demand will only continue to increase here as hopefully the prices go down.
And those cars are pretty popular in LA too, aren't they?
Very, very popular. We have a bunch in our lot right here. Not mine, of course.
Melody, I was wanting to get your thoughts. There was another report on Tesla that we are watching, and there's reports that it has signed a contract to build its next gigafactory in Germany. When you think about how fast or how quickly Tesla is moving, obviously it's shifting its focus not only from the U.S. but overseas on the heels of the news that we just had about its Shanghai plant over in China. Is there any risk that maybe Tesla could be getting ahead of themselves and spreading themselves too thin and then could be subject to some of the production problems that they've had in the past?
It's interesting, Seana. I don't think production is actually the big headwind here. I think environmental concerns and a lot of the backlash that they're facing from the community is actually coming to light. So a lot of the local German newspapers are reporting on this Brandenburg facility that did get approved. I think Tesla has spent so far about $45 million on securing this facility, but there is an extinct bat species that is actually up here that is now in part of this discussion, where a lot of local community activists and folks coming from different parts of Germany saying, hey, how are you going to help with deforestation? How are you going to help with the water supply? A lot of these details have yet to be ironed out. And there's further backlash, actually, because Tesla did not actually send any of its own representatives. They're working through a third-party consultancy to really kind of hedge these sorts of concerns. So I have no doubt that Tesla will plow through and make sure that they are promising that they end up planting 3 times as many trees as they cut down. However, of course, as you know, this is going to be an ongoing discussion with any sort of big man taking to local communities, because this is not Berlin proper. This is a small town outside of Berlin. So as you can imagine, they need to be very cognizant of the concerns of those local community members.
All right, Melody Hahm, thank you.